What's up guys, and welcome to today's video. If you've been here before, shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in to yet another video. And if you're new here, join the family, get down there and hit subscribe. And while you're down there, hit the little bell icon so you don't miss out on any future videos. So here's a change. We have the coupe in the garage today. This thing is rarely in here. Usually when I work on it outside. Today, we brought it in here. As you can see, there's something missing in this area right here because I've been having a lot of battery issues. The yellow top Optima battery that was in the blue GC finally gave out and it won't hold a charge at all anymore. I figured why not test out the one in the coupe, and the one in the coupe seems to be working, but the terminals are so thin that my clamps won't tighten all the way, so it won't hold the ground. I basically have to wiggle it and find the sweet spot to get it to start. So I have to see what I can do about that. But for the coupe, I've been meaning to put the battery in the trunk anyway, so I figured it was perfect time to do it. I've had this Mele Design battery mount and the Odyssey lightweight battery laying around in the garage for a while now. I honestly don't even know if that thing holds charge anymore either, but we're gonna throw it in the trunk. Worst case, we'll get another one because that one is old and it's a battery, so it is a wear item. I guess you can say wear, right? The battery wears, I don't know. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that in the trunk. I'm charging it right now. My plan is to put this battery on and then get like a solar powered trickle charger for it. So let's go ahead and find out. You guys remember the trunk mat that I showed in my previous video that was in my blue car? I had one here in the coupe as well. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I ended up selling it because the battery is probably gonna go right here, and I'm gonna have some sort of a brace back here, so stay tuned for that. But that's basically why I sold it. But I forgot to show you guys what we're working with. So I got all of this stuff from Amazon. This is American wire gauge, I think it is, the AWG. So we are going to be using 2-gauge wire. Some people say go with 0, go big or go home. Some people say you're good with 4-gauge wire. So I figured why not be right in the middle and do a 2-gauge wire. We got some wire cutters right here. This is basically like a grommet, so it doesn't rub on bare metal when going through the firewall. We have a circuit breaker right here that we're gonna mount in the trunk as well. We have a power distribution block. We have some terminal rings, and we have this like hammer style crimper because this is heavy gauge wire. I'm gonna leave links to all of this stuff in the description below in case you guys wanna do a job like this, but this is basically everything you need. I mean, if I come up with something else, then obviously you guys will find out. I've been giving this setup a lot of thought because if you're like me, and you want to do everything just one time, you got to make sure you do it right. So I'm trying to plan how I'm going to do this. I was thinking power distribution block, bam, right there, front and center. I think it would look pretty cool right there, and it would mount very nicely right there. I'm thinking of bringing the cable out through this hole right here, and then it will come out into the block right here, and then from the block I will feed out to the starter down there and the fuse box over here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start feeding the wire through that hole and basically getting it to the trunk, and then I'll know where to cut everything and we can start putting some ring terminals on it. So I got the power distribution block mounted up right there. I think it looks pretty freaking sick right there, like front and center, because obviously without power, none of this would work. I went with the black wire because I didn't want like a big red wire being exposed everywhere, because I don't know if I'm gonna completely gut the interior. So I'm doing the red heat shrink on the terminals to basically distinguish what is ground and what is power. When I went ahead and put the ring terminal on with the hammer, I used the alternator as a base. Obviously it didn't like it. A couple of the pieces broke and went down in there, so we'll see how it sounds when I turn it on. I did that because I was being lazy and I didn't want to pull it all the way out to do it here on the floor, but the alternator is done anyways. As you can see, the power stud right there is completely broken. This is how I got the car, so if it was like that already, then it doesn't really matter because I didn't break it, it was already broken. So I'm gonna go ahead and route the cable from under the dashboard all the way to the trunk. I'm not gonna record myself doing that, so I'll show you guys when it's all said and done, which for you guys will happen right now. And we're done. This fiberglass wire running kit, it made easy work of this job. I didn't want to take like the rear seats apart or anything like that, so I just stuffed it in there from the back and I was able to just fish it through. All I did was put some duct tape on it and we were good to go. All that's left to do in the front is run a power wire, just a short one from here down here to the starter, so like about a foot, maybe like 16 inches, and then one from the power block to the fuse box, because our original power wire has one going to the starter and one going right here to the fuse box. Instead of the starter one being long and the fuse box being short, they're gonna switch. The starter one's gonna be short and the fuse box is gonna be long. Back here tomorrow, we're gonna come and mount the battery mount. Then we have to wire in our circuit breaker somewhere around here, and then we're gonna run a short wire from the battery to this, and then this one that we just fed all the way through is gonna be from here out to the front of the car.
The next day.
So I just realized that I didn't give this whole cable running thing enough thought. We have it coming in through the firewall there and in through here, and it's running in here all the way to the back, which is fine. You can't see it. The only problem is right here. I left it a little too short and I don't have enough slack to tie it all the way up and out of the way. So because I'm lazy and I know I'm gonna have to tear the interior apart at some point again, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave at least another foot of slack here. That should get us to where we need to be. As far as the mount, I'm gonna put it right there because this right here is actually the frame rail, so I know that's gonna be nice and sturdy. Alright guys, so a lot has been going on. I was recording and then I forgot that this camera right here died. So I guess it didn't record everything that I did, but let me show you guys everything that's been done so far. So this is our power distribution block. We have the power from the battery coming in here. We have a power coming down here to the starter right there. This is literally the same wire that it had running all the way here where the battery was. All I did was I shortened it added my own ring terminals, and then that's basically it. This one right here I had to make. This one is for the fuse box, and then ground wise, there was one ground here that came to the front of the radiator support here and to the back right there on the transmission. All I did was shorten this one again. All I did was cut it, and I grounded it right in there to that spot. There was literally some threads there, so I was like, that's perfect. So as you can see, I sanded it down. Everything's good to go. So that ground is there, and then the one that was here, all I did was use the leftover from that one to make it come all the way down in here. Again, right there were some threads, so I just used that. So since we're done with basically everything under the hood, I can go ahead and throw this back on, and there we go. Oh yeah, and the cable that went to the fuse box, I used it as a ground right here from the pitch mount down to the trans. This one was basically cut like right here from what was left, so basically I just replaced it with this. So now I know that all the grounds are good. Shout out Sebastian for telling me where all the grounds go on this car, because I wanted to make sure that I'm not just doing this mod but also fixing existing issues. So I think we're done under the hood. Let's move over to the trunk. So here in the trunk we have our power cable that is coming from inside the hood to our battery. So it's going to the breaker, and from the breaker I'm gonna connect it to the battery. And it's cool because this breaker basically acts like a kill switch. Like if I have it down like that, then obviously it's not gonna get any power to the car, so it won't start. So all I have to do is, you know, flip it, and then we should be good to go. So now I think we can mount the battery, run our little short like 6 to 8 inch cable from the battery to the breaker right there, and then we're gonna try to make a ground somewhere here on the frame rail, just so I know it's nice thick metal. It's not, you know, like little thin sheet metal. So we're gonna try to make one there, but there's no threads. So I was like, how am I gonna get a nice ground on the frame rail if there's no threads there? Like, I can't do it. I'm not gonna put a self-tapping screw that's just gonna back out, and it's not gonna have that tight grip on the frame rail. So I was like, how do I do it? And I came up with an idea, and you guys are gonna think I'm borderline genius. I'm kidding, but look at this. I figured I can put a rib nut through the frame rail, and obviously I don't want the ring terminal to clamp onto the top of the rib nut only, because then it's not getting enough surface contact. So what I did was I drilled the ring terminal, so now the rib nut goes through it. It's basically gonna lay on top of the rib nut, and it's gonna have the whole ring terminal as contact surface, so that way it gets an even better ground. And then I have this bolt right here with a nice thick washer built into it, and that's what's gonna hold everything down in place. I think it's gonna be perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and test it out. I'm gonna get the battery in there. We're gonna run these short cables. Alright guys, so I messed up big time with this rib nut. This is my M6 adapter for my rib nut tool, and basically it stripped it and it wasn't tightening the rib nut, so it was loose there. So I was never going to be able to tighten down a ground there. So it turns out that the M6 rib nut is basically the same size as a 1/4x20 rib nut. I was like in a time crunch, and I was like, I want to get this done right now. So I don't even know how I was able to yank it out, but I put in the 1/4x20, and now it's nice and secure. The only thing is I'm gonna have a 1/4x20 bolt in the car, and everything else is gonna be metric, and my OCD is killing me about that. But I just wanted to get it done, and now I'm thinking I'm missing something very important. So I could have just ordered the other adapter and fixed it the right way, or not the right way, but the way to make my OCD okay with it. I'm missing battery clamps, so we're just gonna see how we can secure them for today, just to make sure everything is good to go. So since we don't have the battery connectors, we're just gonna go ahead and electrical tape them onto the post like that. And then after that, the car should start because we haven't touched anything. If anything, we made it better because it was missing one ground and we added that one. All right guys, little tiny issues. I couldn't get the ground to hold and the battery doesn't have enough juice right now since I've left it without being charged for so long. So I have the jump box connected, and when I go ahead and press it, the whole car gets ready to start basically. So let's go ahead and start it. Make sure it's in neutral. There we go. All right, so since we're waiting for the battery connectors, let's go ahead and switch the car. So we're gonna take this one out and bring the blue one in using the power of YouTube. So let's go ahead and, all right, much better. So like I said earlier in this video, this battery is the one that came out of the coupe because the yellow top Optima battery that was in here died. So we have it charging to see if we can bring it back to life. The issue with running this one, as you can see, I have a whole bunch of tape here. This cable will not tighten at all. I literally Googled battery terminal will not tighten and these came up. I didn't even know these existed. So these are called battery post shims, and basically what you do is you put them over your battery post. So like we put them over this right here, and basically we tighten the clamp down over that and it fixes all our issues. So I had to mess with it a little bit, but it's finally on there and it's super tight, so we're good to go on that. We got the green one waiting on a couple parts. We have this one ready to go, so I'll catch you guys when those parts get here, which will be in like 2 days. All right, so we got good news and we got bad news. Good news is we got our battery clamps right here. These are some like quick release ones, so I think they're pretty freaking cool. We also got our solar powered battery charger, so we're gonna go ahead and stick this, I think, yeah, see, if we put it like that, we can stick it on the back window of the coupe. Now the bad news. The bad news is our little Odyssey battery right here, as you can see, it got a little pregnant. When I moved the car out of the garage 2 days ago, I heard it like sizzling, like I'm pretty sure it was boiling inside and it was starting to smoke. So I went and got like a face shield on because I didn't want it to like blow up in my face. But basically the battery just said not, I was gonna say not today, but it said not ever. So we're gonna go ahead and take the Mele Design mount off the car for now, because I don't know if I'm gonna get a new Odyssey battery. They have good reviews and it costs like 130 bucks. There's also this other brand called Mighty Max or something like that, which is a direct replacement, same size, and it only costs 45 bucks. So I kind of want to try that out because I'm thinking if I get that cheap one, leave it on the charger, maybe it'll work. It has mixed reviews. It has more good reviews than bad reviews. So I'm kind of like, I want to try it out. I don't know, we'll see. But for now, we're gonna throw the yellow top. I don't know if it's gonna hold a charge, but we're gonna keep it on the charger anyway. So it's a smart charger. Once it knows it's good to go, it stops charging it. So I'm glad that I can just keep it on there and just be done with it. This is not a goodbye. This is a see you later. I don't even have anywhere to mount this, but since it's just temporary, I think the cables being so short should just hold it in place. So let's go ahead and tighten this thing down. These things are so freaking cool. I want to put them on every car now. If I want to take the negative off, just undo this, take it off. I want to put it back on. I can just throw it back on and tighten this like that. Won't even wiggle anymore. These things are legit. Okay, so we ran into another issue, and I think we got a defective circuit breaker, because when I put my jump box on it, it says short detected and the breaker will not flip. If I bypass the circuit breaker, it gives power to the whole car, no problem, no short. But when I flip the switch, it'll say there's a short, like watch. So right there, if I wanted to start it, I just press this button right here, and then the whole car gets power. But as soon as I flip the breaker, right here, bam, short. I'm pretty sure it's the circuit breaker that's bad, because when I try to give it power from the battery, let's say, it's instant, look. Instant short. So and it didn't flip, so I'm pretty sure that it's the breaker that is defective. So we're gonna go ahead and return that one and hopefully get a new one that's actually working. But I've dragged this video far too long. Basically the job is done. We just got a defective part, so all we have to do is replace it. So it's not really a big deal. Everything is good. It's just that circuit breaker, which kind of like ruins the end of the video, but there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm gonna end the video here because I need to get the blue Subaru in the garage. It's already late. So if you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. And while you're down there, hit the little bell icon so you don't miss out on any future videos. We have the NOS video coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. But that's gonna do it for this one. So as always, keep moving forward and stay on the gas.